Hey everyone, I hope you are all well. Today I'm going to be talking about how I found a job in Iceland and how you can also find a job in Iceland. I just want to share my tips and tricks and things that will help you get along if you're currently banging your head across a brick wall. And if you're not looking for a job in Iceland, then I guess I will just share my story and you can listen. And please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up. Especially if you found it helpful, leave a thumbs up and I would greatly appreciate that. Okay, so initially when I decided to move to Iceland, I didn't realize that I would be able to get a job. I was just planning to become an au pair and take care of children, or maybe to do a cultural exchange and stay with a family and I don't know, maybe be on a farm or something. But actually, I guess the farm idea wasn't so at the forefront of my mind because my main goal was to be in Reykjavík. I really wanted to be in Reykjavík, the city, and so everything I did was centered around that. The first step for me was making a decision. Where did I want to go? Where exactly did I want to reside? Iceland, Reykjavík. So that was decided. So I started getting in touch with an agency. I started applying through different agencies. There's one agency called Ninukot. They put me in touch with a family. I applied with them about a week or something before my flight. And then there was also Au Pair World. I was checking that out. I had a profile there, and then I was also messaging some families. There was also Workaway, but Workaway didn't really make a lot of sense to me because it was just not very practical. For me at that time, it just wasn't very practical because I was looking for something that would also give me a bit of money, and the best option would be to au pair or to work. But as I said, I wasn't exactly considering working so much because I wasn't actually sure if I'd be able to find a job. Then I started looking deeper into the au pairing after applying and everything, and I realized, oh no, there's a certain age restriction. In fact, I didn't really realize it. I wanted to au pair with this family, but then she told me that, oh, there's actually an age restriction. And then we realized that both of us had actually applied to the other agency, which kind of worked on a different with different age limits. So yes, that was the coincidence. But the problem with this pairing, this lady and I, like, who were communicating on that website and this through this other agency, was she lived in Akureyri, and Akureyri is actually in the north of Iceland. And of course I did not want to be in Iceland, but it was getting to a point where I was actually getting quite desperate and I was getting a bit worried. So I was thinking, okay, maybe I need to go to Akureyri first and then come to Reykjavík later, or just maybe, like, I was actually worried, but I didn't want to go to Akureyri because I had an exam in October. I had scheduled my exam because I was just finishing up some course I was doing in London, and I was checking the prices. Sorry, this is a backstory. I was checking the prices of Reykjavík to Akureyri. Ooh, I'm falling. I was checking the prices of Reykjavík to Akureyri, and I realized that it was going to be very expensive to be flying there, and also even getting a bus there would be expensive. So I just wanted to be in Reykjavík for so many reasons, including that I had an exam scheduled for October and I had obviously moved there in September. So in like about 20 days, I was about to have an exam. So then this whole business of au pairing seemed to not be going very smoothly. What this lady told me to do is to basically spend one night in Reykjavík, meet with the agency I'd been talking to. I'd already met her on Skype. We'd already Skyped each other, and she was like, look, you can go to her in Akureyri, or I can place you with a family here in Reykjavík. So she showed me all the options, and I looked through the families. It was going to be the father and the two kids, the two boys that I would be living with and taking care of. Then I had a meeting with her around 12 or 1 o'clock. Then a few hours later, the dad came. I met him. And then during that week, I went to their place and I met the kids and then the grandma, and they seemed really lovely. But he was a bit worried because he was scared that as soon as the cold came, that I would just run away from Iceland. But no, that wasn't my intention. When I moved to Iceland, this was my destiny. This was my choice and I wasn't planning to just run away as soon as I saw a snowflake. So I've kind of gone into my story quite a bit, but I just wanted to tell you a bit of the backstory, even though I've kind of skipped over a certain bit. So while I was interviewing with this guy, and I was also meeting the kids and meeting different families, I was also going to interviews and also looking for a job. I was in Iceland, but this was because 2 days before my flight, nothing was set in stone. Nothing had been confirmed. Not even my accommodation. I had not even booked my accommodation. The only thing I had confirmed, which I had booked a month prior in August, was my flight. I booked my flight. I'd added on an extra 23 kilos because I knew I was moving there. So I thought, okay, I need my carry-on and I need some extra luggage. So 4 days before my flight, I started putting together an email that I could send to every single hotel in Reykjavík. And I actually started considering the job option more because I just wanted to be in Iceland. I just wanted to get there. And so yeah, I started putting the email together, writing it, and including my CV. It took me 2 days to get all the contacts together. Yes, and then on 2 days before my flight, I sent the email to all the hotels in the city, in Reykjavík. Not outside Reykjavík, because of course I didn't want to be there. And how I got this idea, I will admit I got this idea from another YouTuber. I just typed in how to get a job in Iceland, and then I found this idea from another YouTuber who had actually moved to Iceland also. And I saw, like, she talked about how she sent this email to every single hotel in the whole of Iceland and only got one reply and one confirmed acceptance, and I was like, why are the chances so low? I thought, okay, if she only got one, then I guess I have a better chance. So what I did was I only emailed 130 hotels in Reykjavík, personalized a few emails. I basically wanted to work for a bigger kind of hotel because I wanted to work for a bigger company. And I had one interview confirmed for the day after I arrived, and I had a few saying that we don't have work, and some obviously didn't reply, some of them, and that's it. I had just one confirmed. Another point I wanted to make is the very first interview I had on the day after I arrived, like, I was so overwhelmed by the weather that I dressed in such a way that was a bit not great. Yeah, I didn't dress that amazing, but then for the next interview I had learnt my lesson. Like, I knew that the reason I didn't get that job was because I was not the best presented. Like, I don't even think my makeup was great. Like, I just think that I just missed it. I just missed it, and I'm so happy I missed it because I feel like God always has a way of placing you in the right place. Don't make the mistake of not dressing good enough. So just dress well, do what you can with what you have, dress well and present yourself, be ready. Don't be like shocked by the weather to the point where it completely changes you, because that's what happened for me. That day was so rainy. I don't even think I wore shoes. I think I wore like some kind of Converse, or you know, this plimsoll shoes or whatever. Don't do that. Dress, like, just dress the part. Just dress the part. That helps as well. Make sure you dress the part going to interviews. That is like the first impression. And then as soon as I arrived, I got another interview for the hotel that I worked at for like that I just finished working for, and they were only 4 minutes from where I was staying, 4 minutes walk from where I was staying. So I was like, immediately, like, there was a connection. I immediately felt like I wanted to work in that particular hotel. And I had another interview because I was getting fed up, and I just walked along the whole street of Reykjavík and asked in every hotel, do you have jobs, and then one particular one, the guy was so friendly. He straight away, he was like, oh yeah, I remember seeing your CV in the emails. I sent it to the manager. He put me on the phone with him and we talked, and then I went there for a day. And then it was like he had already given me the job. But then I was really considering the other one. And another thing is, I was talking to a lot of people in the hostel that I was staying at the time, and I felt like if I was to tell everybody at least one person would be able to help me in some way. One guy helped me. I was going down the whole town, entering every hotel, and I just happened to go past where he was at the time, having lunch or breakfast or whatever. We were talking again. I was telling him, yeah, I'm just kind of checking up on the hotels I had sent my CV to. He connected me with the guy in that shop, and he says, you have a job if you want it, just bring your papers tomorrow and we'll sort you out. And I was like, oh my god. So basically within the space of 24 hours I had been offered 3 jobs. That was while I was already in the country. So that is basically how I got a job in Iceland. I just emailed the places that I would potentially wanted to work for, did a little bit of follow-up, but mostly with the one I ended up getting, that was a case of them emailing me. I was like, I really want to work for this company because it just stood out to me. It was just the best thing, and it was night shifts as well, which was exactly what I needed, because they were offering a higher, I think they typically pay higher for night shifts, which was exactly what I needed. Now I'm just kind of in transition. So the au pairing thing didn't work out, but getting a job did. I've been even more inspired and motivated to search for the exact kind of job that I want. So that is exactly how you can get a job. You can just basically copy what I did, email the places that you would potentially like to work for, see if they have work, and maybe they will email you back and invite you for an interview. The structure of my email was basically, hi, my name is Tabitha, this is who I am, this is where I'm from, do you have any work? This is what I can do. I will be arriving in Iceland on the 20th. Like, I just told them exactly my plan. I have good customer service, that kind of thing. You know, I just wanted to get my foot on the ground. I just wanted to get myself in the system, and so I just had to start from somewhere. And I felt like working in a hotel was the perfect place to start for me because Iceland is such a up-and-coming place, and there are so many tourists. English language is very important, so I knew that I would be just fine if I only spoke English in the workplace, and a hotel was the perfect place. I just knew that the hotel was a perfect place for me because I'm passionate about travel. I like to meet people, I like to help people, and I just knew that it was a great place to start. So you can identify where you would best start. Some people start in their exact field. You just have to identify what's best for you. I just knew that working in a hotel was just ideal for me to start with. Just targeted them specifically. That is how I found a job in Iceland. I hope you've enjoyed this story. There are obviously other things I did. If you're wondering about like visas and that, I didn't have a visa because I'm from the UK. I don't really require a visa. I just had to register myself with Registered Iceland, and I just got my employer to sign the papers, and I did that. I went to their office, registered where I was living, etc. I didn't even have to pay anything. Like maybe 2 or 3 weeks later, they emailed me with my kennitala, which is a ID number, and then I was set to go. You can do everything with this kennitala. It's linked to a lot of stuff. Then once I got the kennitala, I set up my bank account, which then I was paid my first salary into on the 1st of the month. I landed in the country on a Wednesday. 2 weeks later, on a Wednesday, I started my job, and on a Wednesday, I moved into a place. So everything happened kind of like on a Wednesday. That was how I got a job in Iceland. I was just extremely proactive. I knew exactly where to target, and I just talked to everybody and told everybody why I was in Iceland, what I was looking for, and I just basically offered myself in that way. And yes, that's it. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please do subscribe if you're not already subscribed, as well as turn your notifications on so you know exactly when I've uploaded a video, and I will see you in my next one.